Hello everyone, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc. and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc. and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc. and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need. Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.
How goes the family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional day. It's Thursday, so let's get it real quick before I call it a night. All right. So tonight's topic is, what is the point of education, the education system? Before I go forward, before people get in the feelings, I'm not talking bad about the education system in the United States of America. I'm a product of it. Anything that is worth having always has some sort of self improvement, whether it's your mental, your physical, your education. Anything in society can be improved, because nothing in this life is perfect. So there's always room for some sort of process improvement. All right. That's all I'm saying. All right. So, because I have a lot of respect and admiration for people who do work in the school system, especially the public school system, especially in school systems that, the school districts that have lower funding and whatnot, because everything is economic based, even the school system. The best school system is where the well-to-do communities are. The worst just school systems are where the worst-to-do communities reside. The lower income community. Everything is economics in the world, not just America, but around the world. So that's just what it is. All right. So luckily, in the information age, with these cell phones, you can, get access to a lot of education and whatnot. But, you know, still, and then obviously you have to have a thirst for knowledge all at the same time. But I really just wanted to dig in tonight on what the real premise of public education is, of just education as a whole and whatnot, and how it's evolved over time. Because I remember I've learned more as an adult than I have as a child, because I'm not a conventional learner. Most people are not. That's why a lot of school systems do not work, and they do a lot of time. They do their best to try to help kids. They call it special need classes. They call it special education, learning disability classes. I think really it's not learning disability or special education classes. I think that people, now I'm no psychologist, I don't have a PhD, but I'm going to say that I just think the fact that most people don't learn the same way. And the problem with most school systems around the United States of America is that they don't want to acknowledge that most people don't learn the same way, and they want to crap on everybody, especially the children who they call special education children or learning disability children. When a lot of times they just don't learn the textbook aspect of things, especially in today's world. Most people are visual learners. I myself am not only a visual learner, I need to physically be involved in the process, and then I need to repeat it to ensure that I understand it for myself and whatnot. But everyone's different. But I'm going to dig into the actual aspects of education as a whole and what it really, really, really means or whatnot. All right. How it really began in the United States of America. All right. So, hundreds of years ago, most learning happened at the home, which I think most learning should always happen at the home, anyways, because um, that's why so many rich people stay rich, because from generational wealth is not just by acquiring the wealth, but they're able to do it because the parents are talking to their children about how wealth works. And like, yeah, you go to the school and get your standardized education, but when you come home, you get the real education. All right. But, anyways, I digress. Parents taught their children, or if their families could afford it, private tutors did the job. Puritans were the first in the country to point out the need for some kind of public education. They established schools to teach not just the essentials, reading, writing, and math, but also to reinforce the core values. Because bear in mind, remember, the inception of the United States of America, not everybody could read because they needed more workers than educators and whatnot, all at the same time, to help build the country. So a mass amount of laborers came to the United States, even before obviously the transatlantic slave trade took place and things of that nature. But they a lot of people that were, poor, a lot of poor people that came from Europe and went out to the United States, well, the Americas as they call it, the colonies and things of that nature. A lot of laborers, a lot of men, and they even had to import a lot of women because it was mostly men that was coming here at the time. And then of course when they realized that they couldn't keep a certain amount of people in indentured servitude and whatnot, they started going to Africa, and they had their making their money moves and whatnot within the transatlantic slave trade. But, anyways, after the American Revolution, Thomas Jefferson argued that newly independent nations needed an educational system, and he suggested that tax dollars be used to fund it. His pleas were ignored, however, the idea for a public school system languished for nearly a century. By the 1840s, a few public schools had popped up around the country in the communities that could afford them. However, that smattering of schools wasn't good enough for education crusaders. Horace Mann of Massachusetts and Henry Bernard of Connecticut, they began calling for free compulsory school for every child in the nation. Massachusetts passed the first compulsory school laws in 1852. New York followed the next year, and by 1918, all American children were required to attend at least elementary school. Next came the movement to create equal schooling for all American children, no matter what their race was. Now, before I even go further into that, remember this is when they had to started creating child labor laws and whatnot, because it was normal for I mean, you could be a 7-year-old, 8-year-old working in a mine, working on a farm, working in a factory. People don't realize this. Like, it was just normal for children. Everybody had to work. Everybody had to work. And most, I mean, I believe in any household that everybody's supposed to contribute on some sort of level. Even kids and whatnot, they might not be, quote unquote, working a job and whatnot, but should be cleaning the house, should be cutting the grass. A lot of parents do this, and a lot of parents don't. But it is what it is. I'm not a parent, so I can't never judge how a parent raised a kid. I can always use the example how my mother raised me and whatnot, and she made sure my lazy butt was doing something all the time. I couldn't sit on my butt and scratch myself. But anyways, that's another thing people need to remember. Whatnot, it was like it was normal for. That's why certain, and obviously you dig into more information, but certain child labor laws had to come into existence because you had kids who would get killed in the coal mines. You have kids who would unfortunately get killed in the plant, the factory, on the farm and whatnot, because of the lack of safety and whatnot. So, but anyways, next came the movement to create equal schooling for all American children, no matter what their race. At the turn of the 20th century, in the South and many in the North were segregated. There was segregation all over the country, so it is what it is. The 1896 Supreme Court ruling, Plessy versus Ferguson, upheld the legality of segregation. Finally, in 1954, the Supreme Court overturned its ruling with the landmark case Brown versus the Board of Education, and public schools became open to all people and races, but it wasn't fully implemented until about the 70s or 80s or whatnot. All right. But I just wanted to read that history of schooling and whatnot, because at the end of the day, um, it was necessary to have public education, because to not have a literate society is a society that is deemed to fail and whatnot. Even in today's world, when it comes to science and math and engineering and things of that nature, corporations have had to, not even just school systems, but corporations have had to import people from other parts of the world and whatnot, because education is taken much more seriously in other parts of the world than it is in the United States, from a mathematical and engineering standpoint, scientific standpoint. You have a lot of people who get a lot of degrees in various different fields and whatnot, but a lot of times when it comes to scientists and engineering and whatnot, you'll see organizations, from corporations to governments, and universities, institutions, and whatnot. They're getting people from India, they're getting people from China, they're getting people from Africa, they're getting people from all over the world, the whole Middle East, all of Asia, to come in, and they're getting their scientists and their engineers and whatnot, because a lot of people in the American education system can't cut it. Doctors, nurses, the whole nine. A lot of importing, from a legal standpoint, insourcing, not importing, insourcing of other people. Because you always hear the saying of outsourcing jobs and whatnot, but insourcing happens on a regular basis. And of course, you have your situations where illegal immigrants can come over to the United States and work specific jobs. And 9 times out of 10, it's jobs that Americans don't want. And certain instances, it is jobs Americans want, because they're like, hey, I'll work it, but you got to pay me a decent wage. We'll get somebody to sign on paper, and then we can pay them half the wage. So it is what it is. It's an economic move. That's why slavery was such a popular thing in the United States of America, because it was free labor. Hey, and it was popular all over the world, free labor and indentured servitude. So, and I'm not saying this stuff to have a debate, because I'm not debating it. The point I'm making at the end of the day is everything around the world, not just in America, is an economic move. Period. I'll leave it at that. No need to argue. It is what it is. I've already gone through the reasons why, multitude of times, why everything in America and around the world is economic move, right? But that's the history. And obviously more so when America, education became way more important as America shifted from the agricultural economy to an industrial economy and whatnot. Especially, the one good thing I could even say about, if you look through the time frame of the 1920s on up to the 1970s and 80s and whatnot. In the public school system, they called VOTEC and whatnot, and they actually had good programs. I remember having older cousins of mine, certain uncles and whatnot, go, and so still have certain school districts that have this. I've seen it a lot in Pennsylvania and other southern states, seen it in Texas, seen it in Louisiana, that they have these programs where, you can become HVAC, you can become a plumber, you become a carpenter, electrician, things of that nature. And those are very important because obviously those positions are always going to be in need. That's number one. But two, the beautiful thing about being a skilled trades person is it opens the Pandora's box for you to become your own boss if you work things right and if you understand the business outside of just being a great employee and whatnot. And even if you don't want to have a team or a crew of people, you can at least establish an S corp or an LLC. Do your research. Don't just listen to me. And obviously, you can get more tax write-offs when you do jobs on the side and whatnot. And then you establish yourself as a general contractor. So but the thing is, at the end of the day, and the point I'm making before I call it a night, because like I said, I got an early morning tomorrow. The thing is, at the end of the day, is the school system. It's not bad. I'm not downing it whatsoever. However, a lot of times, I've said this many times, and I will say it again, because after I read the history of it, unfortunately, a lot of the school systems around the United States, not all, are lacking in what I like to call um, being able to teach people how to do things outside of just being great at taking tests. Teaching people that there's more than just, 1 plus 1 equals 2 and whatnot. Doing more than just teaching people about history, whether how fabricated the history may be or not, but not focusing enough on things that drive the United States economy. From the industries that are in demand, number one. Two, the military does a great job of this. I will say that with all sincerity. And a lot of other school systems do a good job of this, but they don't, most school systems do not do a good job of molding young people to be, to really prepare themselves for the real world. Not even college, a lot of times, prepares people for the real world. Outside of you, unless you're in the medical profession, IT profession, going to be a lawyer or going to be an engineer. Outside of those professions, I really don't think the college prepares people a lot of times. And even then some, you know, when it comes to economics, when it comes to financial literacy, that's why you have so many of these private schools online that are popping up and whatnot, because that's why EY University and Bob the Hood University, the Black Business School, these platforms and any other platforms that are associated with financial literacy have become more popular because people do not want to be in constant debt till the day that they die. I've been sent my brother from another mother, Adrian Gonzalez, has sent me countless of articles talking about how um, the six-figure workers are not um, in good shape right now economically. How in a sense they're kind of screwed, in today's world, and because they weren't prepared for this sort of inflation, and most people weren't. I'm not going to say that this was um, not nobody could have foresaw the way that inflation is right now, but most people were not prepared, and that's the biggest problem. Like if you're on my Facebook or my Instagram, you will see I put out a post about it's a big family. It looks like there's two sets of grandparents, two sets of parents, and a bunch of kids and whatnot, um, in front of a big house in the country. Nice looking family, right? I put on there on the meme. I've been trying to create more memes lately. This is the new American norm. Okay, multiple families living in one house. Eight to ten paychecks are better than 1 to 2. Okay, but yeah, like this one recent article that Adrian sent me. Older millennials don't have as much wealth as their parents did at the same age, but they are catching up. They don't have as much wealth as their parents, but they are catching up. The ones that are catching up are the ones who are doing things from an economic perspective and not just working a job. Because unlike our parents was the last generation, the baby boomers, to have actual pension plans when they worked for corporate America, or if they even worked at a government institution or whatnot. Once the Gen X generation came in, that's when they started getting rid of the pension plans, and they just started to have everybody got their own version of a 401k plan. You know, which isn't really meant for you to really retire off of. But even the people who created it said that it was just a way it was a tax haven for rich people, one, and then two, it was a way for corporate America and the government to say, hey, and there's nothing wrong with this because this is the American way. Hey, we need more people investing in the stock market. How are we going to do that? Oh, okay. Well, corporations as a whole, we're getting rid of pensions. So why don't we just use this 401k plan? This way we have more of our workers contributing to the stock market. Because if you don't have anybody contributing to the stock market, then hey, stock market will cease to exist. It's economics 101. You know what I mean? But article says as millennials begin to turn 40 in 2021, um, middle-aged millennials, a series exploring how the oldest members of this generation have grown into adulthood amid the backdrop of a Great Recession during the 2007, uh, between then and 2013 timeframe, and COVID-19 pandemic, student loans, stagnant wages, rising cost of living. 5 years ago, older millennials were 40% poorer than previous generations were at the same stage of life. That wealth gap has shrunk in recent years, but it's still too soon to tell if obstacles such as student loan, debt burdens, rising living expenses, and the effects of the COVID pandemic will push this generation permanently off course. The oldest millennials are turning 40 this year. I'm turning 40 next year. And at the average older millennials born at the 1980s in the 1980s still hasn't managed to squirrel away the same level of wealth as previous generations accumulated at the same age. Looking back 5 years in 2016, the average older millennial was 32, earning a median income of 57,000 and had a net worth of approximately $27,000. But based on wealth rates, previous generations recorded at similar ages, a typical millennial should have been earning a median salary of 65,000 with a net worth of 46,000 in 2016, according to the calculations by the St. Louis Fed's Institute for Economic Equity, based on the Federal Reserve Board survey consumer finances. Now, before I go further with this, and this code, this is basically aligned with about the school system. One of the biggest things, and I remember, my last year in high school and whatnot, and I remember how they continuously was trying to get everybody to go to college, and they knew, and most people weren't even ready to go to college during that time frame. I know I wasn't. I worked 2 to 3 jobs for a couple of years before I went to college because I was like, one, I wasn't feeling general education. Number one, two, I was like, I don't know what the heck I want to do in my life, and three, my mindset was I need to have money in my pocket. I am not trying to be broke as a joke, okay? Because I saw so many people that were 5 to 10 years older than me are broke as a joke. Okay, so I was not. My mindset was make money, however, from a legal standpoint, save as much money as possible, and then years later, I started investing money. But that was my mindset. But the biggest problem is a lot of times people don't understand why entertainers and rappers specifically can catch young people's attention. And I'm just gonna be straight up. The main reason why, with teenagers, and I'm not a teenager anymore, but the main reason why the sexiest thing on the planet, and I'm going to use the word sexy, it's not just somebody that looks good and whatnot, but somebody living a lifestyle that you want to live that you can't live. Okay. Whether it's, a Young Thug, a Kanye West, God rest his soul, Nipsey Hussle, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, I'm talking about rappers in my generation. Of course, you got all the Kodak Blacks, who's a Bama, and all these other people that are out here today. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, all of them, Ti, etc. The list goes on and on. But what I will say is the main reason why there's two reasons, three reasons: the music, the sex, and the money. And with me, I always looked up to the rappers that were business people, whether my generation, Master P, whether it was Russell Simmons, whether it was even Suge Knight, as crazy as he is, whether it was Diddy, Jay-Z, Dame Dash. I used to love to listen to them talk about the business aspect of things. The biggest problem with education in today's world is that, and I'm not dogging on the teachers because they're doing their job and they're doing a heck of a great job. But if you really want to catch the mindset, especially of young men and whatnot, talk about money. It's very simple because money is everything, regardless of how you think. I mean, the school that you're teaching in, it had to come. The money came from somewhere to build it and to maintain it. The tax dollars, okay, of your community and whatnot, keeps that the tax dollars, of that community, fund your salaries, you know Talk about money, and teachers need to become more financially literate because they're like, well, we that's not our job and whatnot. Well, if you, my personal opinion, if you want to keep kids' attention and whatnot, show how they can make some money and whatnot in regards to whatever, like, you find out what they're interested in and figure, hey, well, if you want to make money, don't just tell them just go to college and get a college degree. That is so played out. Tell them, okay, well, you might want to consider college, or maybe you want to go to trade school, or maybe you want to join the military, or maybe you want to get a certification in certain areas or whatnot. And then tell them, hey, you can make, it's projected you can make this amount of money and whatnot. You want to be able to try to invest your money in these specific areas, but talk to a financial professional. Talk to your parents. Maybe your parents have a financial professional. If they don't, then maybe here's a list of your parents to talk to them and whatnot. And I know everything revolves around classism and whatnot. Not everything's going to be one-sided for poor people, middle class people, and upper class people, and rich people and whatnot. I get that. But the best way I remember as a young man to get my attention is to tell me you can make money doing this. This is how you can make money. That was the best way to catch my attention. Then I was like, oh, my eyes would perk up. My best teachers knew that to get my attention, really, they would relate it to money. Sometimes they try to relate it to a rap song or a rapper and whatnot, but they would relate it to money. Okay, and that's what would always catch my attention. Okay, I cannot put it any other way. All right, but anyways, and the biggest problem with the millennial generation is that we were told a bunch of things that just were not 100% true in regards to one. If you get a college degree, everything will work itself out. Because they would always talk about the earning potential between a high school graduate and a college graduate and whatnot. Unfortunately, these were Gen Xers and baby boomers telling us this. Mostly, majority of the time, baby boomers telling us this. And they weren't, because they were, getting ready to retire and or start the new life and whatnot, and they weren't they didn't, a lot of them didn't even realize the world that we were about to step into once we got into college and once we became adults and whatnot, because it wasn't the height of, people didn't have as much access to information back then like we do now. And then in even certain instances, a lot of times people just didn't want to tell you. All right, that's the sad thing. All right, the article says this means that older millennials essentially had a wealth gap of about 40% in 2016 compared with previous generations. In the last 3 years, however, older millennials made significant gains in their wealth. In the last 3 years, wealth and are now only 11% below expectations. Um, and it says here's a look at why the wealth gap is starting to close and whether older millennials could catch up to their parents as they approach middle age. Why did older millennials fall behind when it comes to tracking wealth? Net worth is a good yardstick. It is essentially all of a person's assets, including cash and checking and savings accounts, financial investments, and the value of any real estate or vehicles owned, minus all their debt, including credit card balances, student loans, and mortgages. Debt and home ownership can be significant stumbling blocks for millennials trying to build wealth. The number of American households with student loan debt doubled from 1998 to 2016, Pew Research Center found. In 2016, the median amount of student loan debt that millennials carried was 19,000, significantly higher than Gen X's balance of 12,000 at the same age, just one generation earlier. And I know with inflation and the cost of living going up, the numbers are never always going to be 100% for every generation. So, and even the article says every generation has its own set of unique challenges. True. But at the same time, you can't work full time and put yourself through college the way you could perhaps 30 or 40 years ago. Um, and this is true as well. Those born in the 1980s, like myself, then their parents to move out, marry, and buy their own homes, all of which affects household net worth. Now, before I go forward, because I remember people used to give our generation crap about this. You got to move out immediately once you leave high school, and all this other crap. But I bucket that system. And I say that not because I didn't do the same thing, but I bucket that system. Well, not even, I didn't move out immediately when I got out of high school, and I wasn't itching to because I was not ready, one. But two, I was put in a position because I wanted to work my butt off and whatnot. And I still can help contribute to the house that I grew up in and whatnot. But I was in a position where I could save money. And because I could save money, that means I was able to be able to buy a car without having a freaking car note. And I've still never had a car note to this day in my life, and I'm happy about that. Then I was able to establish enough credit and whatnot and learn about credit so that I could buy my first home and whatnot. And then I could get my first business. And then I could buy more multitude of freaking rental properties and things of that nature. And I know I keep repeating myself when I say this, but I saw, and as an adult, as a person coming up in the early 20s in Woodbridge, Virginia, I had the pleasure of seeing, especially the Hispanic community, having 2 to 3 families living up in a townhouse or a single family house and whatnot. And like I said, they would take equity out of that home, whether they were renting that home, they would save money. If they own the home, they save money, take equity out of that home, buy another house, the family would have up to 20 to 30 houses in various different names and whatnot, having 20 to 30 different loans and whatnot, and be able to take equity lines of credit out of those homes and purchase family businesses together. Family group economics. As everybody else looked down on that, they were getting richer and richer and richer. No matter how ghetto it might sound to you, these things work. And that's why so many generations of people will be able to still live in an expensive state like California or New York or whatnot because of family generational wealth. And the same thing is happening in Florida and Texas right now from an economic standpoint. People are being priced out of major cities in those states and whatnot. And if families don't get together, like I said, the new family norm needs to be group economics, something that they do not teach in the public schools. Okay. The schools do their job to prepare you to become an efficient employee, but they do a horrible job to trying to help you become economically empowered. Even as an employee, you can have some sort of economic empowerment. There's no lie about that whatsoever, family. There's no lie about that whatsoever. However, you got to have the right mindset. Do you want to do it? You know, there's just there's just no way. You know, there's just no way that you can do that. Unfortunately, you know, there's no way you can do that. So it is what it is. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the school system, and I think it's interesting. And like I said, I commend anybody who works in the school system. I really do. I got a lot of love. I got a lot of respect for people that work in the school, especially teachers, because they have so much, especially in today's world, because they have so much patience, especially with having to deal with other people's children, whether it's from a good aspect or a negative aspect. I got nothing but love and respect for them, straight up and down. So all I can say is just parents keep up the great work with your children. Please do your best to ensure financial literacy is in the home on all levels as much as possible, because they need to know they need let the school system do a great job of teaching them how to read and write. And I know a lot of parents help their kids do that as well, but teaching them how to make money, invest money, have businesses and whatnot, that is equally as important as getting a high school diploma, and it's equally important as getting a college degree, equally as important as getting a doctorate or whatever have you. It's just as equally as important nowadays, because today's world is different. I cannot put it any other freaking way. Okay, that's real, right, Chris? That is real. And that's just what it is at the end of the day. And Chris is a parent, so he knows what I'm talking about. I'm not dogging the school system. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, when it boils down to the school system and whatnot, they have their job, and you as the parent have your job, because it's like, what is the real point of a school system? Is to help you become good, efficient, obedient employees and whatnot, and that's fine. All right, that is fine. But I think with our tax dollars, this is one thing I should say, that especially to the parents out there, they should have more of a say so in the curriculum in regards to um, economic financial empowerment. Now, obviously, that's your job to do that at the home. And in the age of information, the best thing about the millennial generation, in the age of information, being ignorant of a subject matter, at least I wanted to know the one-on-one aspects of it, is an excuse. It's a beautiful thing called YouTube University, Spotify. The list goes on and on. Okay. This goes on and on. All right. So I just had to keep it like that, and see if I'm gonna drop the link in the chat for Chris, and let him give his because I know, like I said, with him being a parent, he can definitely speak more on this subject matter than I can. But I'm not passionate about a lot of things in life, but I'm very passionate about economic empowerment, because so many generations can be saved. And parts of America is becoming to the point where Most people can't afford to live anymore, and that goes for Texas, that goes for the South, that goes to the Midwest. If you're next to a major city in the United States of America, regardless of sitting in the White House, governor's house, and the mayor's house, economic empowerment better be on your freaking agenda before you want to get your Starbucks, before you want to get your overpriced car in your house. Economic empowerment needs to be on the number one freaking agenda, because if not, you could be SOL, and it's not going to be anyone's fault but your own. You know, like me and Chris was talking about before I went down to Texas and whatnot. Family needs to be economic empowerment. Family doesn't need to be. If you have your last name is James and whatnot, then everybody that has a last name James needs to be saying, "Yeah, me as a James, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Okay, let's collaborate." It should be collaboration over competition. So at the family reunion, at the family barbecue, there shouldn't be no bragging about who's got the nicest house and bragging about who's got the nicest car, or bragging about who's got the best degree, and bragging about who's got the prettiest wife or husband or most handsome husband or whatever. No, there should be, hey man, I'm doing this. Hey girl, I'm doing this. Okay, maybe we should collaborate. You know, we're the Jameses and whatnot, so we need to be, when we walk into the room, people need to know who the heck we are. Okay. They don't need to be like, oh, the Jameses, they always arguing and bickering with each other. No, they need to know who the hell the Jameses are as a collective. Okay, not as individuals. Individualistic nonsense. That's the old days. All right. Everybody needs to operate like the immigrants do, as a collective. I said it and I stand on that. So I leave it at that at the end of the day, because I get tired of this nonsense of the braggadocious community thinking that they trying to keep up with the Joneses, where the Joneses is broke as a freaking joke because they trying to keep up, looking fly and looking smooth for everybody else, like they still in freaking high school. Like it's still a popularity contest. It ain't a popularity contest, family, and it shouldn't be. And I stand on that. Okay. I'm just gonna keep it simple on that one. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing, man?
I can't complain, man. How's higgity higgity hot Texas?
Still hot.
I know I lost 10 pounds. So I was like, man, I got off that plane. I was like, okay, I'm cool. Got on the rental car bus. All right, I'm cool. Get to the hotel. As soon as I step out and I had to take my bags to my room, I was like, Lord have mercy. I had to take my clothes off, and I had to just lay on the bed.
Yeah, and you were in Houston, so you had that humidity, so that kicked in. But where I was away in San Antonio, it is nothing but straight
I
heat.
believe it. I
Mm-mm.
believe it. I was like, Lord have mercy. My friend was like, hey man, we're gonna meet up. I said, I'll meet you up when the sun comes down. I
Yeah,
see you at the turkey leg at 8:30. He said, but it closes at 10 o'clock. I said, that's all I need. I'm good. I said, when the sun goes
yeah,
down,
yeah,
that's when
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
that's
agree.
when I'm like, I'm good. Oh man.
Mm-mm.
So what's your opinion being a parent on the subject matter, sir?
Whew. Um, well, for us, public school failed us.
Agreed.
I would say that public school has definitely failed us when we were in school. I mean, out of the 4 years of being in high school, we only took, actually, there's only one class that was in our curriculum. It was one basic economics. That's what it
Got
was,
you.
basic economics. And it gave us an idea, but it didn't really go into depth, like how to fully understand it. And at the time, I was maybe a 10th grader, so I was like maybe I was 15. So obviously, you don't understand the much about economics until you're really like, unless you've been raised from the ground up from your
Mm,
parents, or by the time you turn 18, when stuff really matters.
I agree.
So they let us down with that one. And for technology, uh, when we were in school, technology was a thing. Obviously, set up computers, set up servers, everything like that. I was for 2 years learning that stuff.
Mm,
But once again, technology wasn't as advanced as it is now. So we were learning. So I was learning the basics. I was repairing computers. I was setting up user accounts for high school. I was doing
mm.
that, transfer computers here and there, make sure that's functional.
Right.
But compared to now, you build a whole ecosystems online. You're now setting up servers for like major uh, global companies. Not only with even the simple stuff like you're creating software. We wasn't doing that while we were in school in our high school, which
Right.
is crazy because, like I said, our generation is basically the gap between our parent generation and now, in this case, my kids' generation, because everything advanced so fast in the past 20 years, actually. Yeah, in the past 20 years, technology advanced so much that we're old enough to understand um, Windows 95.
Right. Oh man, back in the day.
Yeah, but we are, but at the same time, we're also old enough that we didn't fully understand the utilization of YouTube when it first came out.
Mm,
We were kind of behind that, but the kids after us picked it up by second nature because that's all they knew.
exactly.
So, public school, it let us down when it comes to learning economics. When it
Mm,
comes to, in my case, for technology, it didn't let us down because it gave us what we known back then, and it was up to us to continue on with that. Now, as for other things, I will say that public school, they could have emphasized more on learning or being more as a requirement to learn a second language. I do agree in that because I mean nowadays, at least down here in Texas, you got to learn. You better be fluent in Spanish. Espanol to be correct, but you better be fluent in that.
exactly,
And
mi amigo.
and not just the proper way, but being fluent in it. We understand different lingos in different areas. Because and well, funny story. People down here think I'm Cuban or Dominican because
Is that right?
because the way I translate, trying to translate and speak Spanish down here, I speak very fast.
Got you.
While and somebody told me, well, the Mexican barrier of Spanish Espanol
Mm,
is a little slower.
right.
It's a little slower, more broad or more direct. But I'm going like 100 miles, so they know I'm not born and raised here.
Of course.
So so they know that from the back. But they really consider me. I'm a honorary Cuban / Dominican down here. I'm like, okay, as long as the food is good, I'm with it.
I know that's right. Dame
Now,
la comida. I know that's
now,
right.
as for the public schools going on down here in Texas, when it comes to my daughter, I definitely say they're letting her down to a certain degree.
Mm,
And this is an elementary school, so they're doing what they can in the curriculum.
mm-hmm,
But I'm also feeling like they're not giving her a challenge.
mm.
And what I mean by that is my daughter she's just like me, ambitiously lazy.
Ambitiously lazy. Okay.
We know the stuff. We know the stuff. We're not if the teacher gets us mad, we're gonna brag about it and shut the teacher up. I have done it plenty of times come to history class.
Right.
She's doing that when it comes to math. But they're not challenging her. And when I show her an equation, well, okay, maybe not an equation, but a simple math problem,
Right.
and she doesn't understand it, then I'm breaking it down to the way that she does. Like, oh, this makes sense. Then she go to the class, do the same thing. And I'm like, well, you should be knowing this stuff, but I understand why you don't.
Mm,
So it's as a parent, as I said, there really is no playbook to raise a child. You got to learn on the ropes.
right.
And since I have two girls, my youngest will be two in a month.
Oh, nice.
She's gonna learn. She's learning everything from my oldest.
Of
But when
course.
it comes to school stuff, she got to learn a different way too. My thing is now, and I'm asking teacher every year, I need you to teach my daughter how to learn. Don't teach her just reading, writing, math. No, teach her how to learn, because I'm guarantee you, you do that, she'll pick it up fast, and she's gonna be on a roll the rest of the year.
Right.
So far, she hasn't missed on a roll yet.
That's what I'm talking about.
So if you teach this person how to learn, and that's from all of us, we could always say, okay, I know how to do this, know how to do that, but we've never been taught how to learn.
And everybody has different learning styles too, which most teachers fail at.
Exactly.
That's why they failed with me.
Oh, they stole with me too. Hey,
I hated school because of the way that they try to teach us. I love education now more so than ever, because I can learn on my own merit and whatnot, and I have my own different ways of doing things and whatnot. But because everything was so standardized, 1, 2, 3, and whatnot, and that's not even the way the freaking real world works.
Yeah,
it's not black and white. Everything is gray, but they don't teach children that.
Yeah, I hated public school because it was boring. And you see me. I mean, my parents made sure. My parents were tough on me. I couldn't go home with a C or get in trouble.
I believe it.
So I was bored. I'll pass it at flying colors, but I never got challenged. Now, slipped my freaking tongue. There was one thing I was definitely mad about, that I found out 3 days before graduation.
Mm-hmm.
So my curriculum was already done. I already got accepted to HBCU.
Right.
Got a couple scholarships and grants, so I was already good with that. But right before about to graduate, I went to the guidance counselor. They asked me why I didn't take AP History, which AP stands for Advanced Placement. I'm like, nobody told me I need to take AP History. And the guidance counselor, my guidance counselor, which I was mad at, I forgot her name. If I see her face, I will never talk to her again. She said, if I took AP History, just 1 year of AP History, I would have got a free scholarship to any university in Florida.
Wow.
4-year academic scholarship in Florida if I took 1 year AP History. And I love history. That would have been an instant, easy A. And what's crazy about it too, that I found out that this was literally happening right after the 9/11, that my godparents actually had a house in Miami for me.
Wow.
If the stars was aligned, if I knew about that. Like that, the house was under my name. Like, this is for you. I'm like, wait, what? The house was under my name, and then 3 days before I would have graduated high school, I could have had a full ride to any university in Florida, which I probably would have University of Miami, because the house was right there.
Oh man, you would have had some half Cuban kids. No, go ahead. I'm just playing.
No, you're probably right. I was wild back then. You know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But they did. But because of the fact that I wasn't down there, they sold the house, put it in a trust fund. So I'm actually pretty good with that. So thank goodness for that. But I was mad. And as a 17-year-old kid, can you imagine how mad that would have been like? If you think about going to a nice sunny beach every day, and your scholarship is paid off, or you can just go to school and just study history. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been pretty perturbed.
Now, granted, HBCU was my 2 years there at HBCU was the greatest time I had. Met some cool friends I still consider family now.
Right.
But you just can't draw out Miami Beach, man.
I mean, if I'm going to pick between Norfolk and Miami, Miami's going to win all day. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Nothing against Norfolk, but Virginia Beach and Miami Beach, 2 different worlds, 2 different planets.
There's no competition, especially when you had something already paid off. Like I could stay, like I had a house.
Right. Yeah.
don't have to worry about paying room and board, even though it was paid off anyway. But I had a house,
Basically, I get what you're saying, man.
so any kid that's in high school, well, going to being a senior in high school. Well, no, scratch that. If you're a sophomore in high school, because by the time you're a senior, you already got your plans already set up, and depending on what it is, it might be a little too late for you guys. If
Got you.
you're a sophomore in high school, you need to go talk to guys counselor every day. Get on their tails and see what do I need to do to go get some scholarships for schools.
Absolutely. I could
And
not agree with you more.
yeah, but at the same now, here's what's funny. And we're going fast forward 10 years from 2002,
Right.
2012. I didn't get my degree in at my HBCU, but I did get my associate's and my bachelor's at ITT Tech.
Right.
Obviously, if you guys did not see the news, did not read no articles online or anything like that, there's been a major lawsuit between ITT Tech and the United States. It was called a predatorial school.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many. Well, now, as early as last month, I may have sent you a link already, but the real estate trapper broke it down as well. But now there's a list of all the schools, all the technical schools, and some major universities has been involved in predatorial practices. And what that is that they're raising the prices up higher than it should be. In-state, out-of-state, technical schools, they raised the price 3 to 4 times. Like for me, it was I found out I paid almost 50 to 60,000 more in student loans than I should have.
Unbelievable.
Now I had no problem. Paying for it if they did what they're supposed to do right, which was in case of at least for ICT Tech, help us build our resumes, help us getting job placements. Like they've actually specified a guaranteeing job placements, communicating with recruiters and everything like that. Because we living in the DMV area,
Right.
basically the defensive contract alley, as I like to call it.
Literally.
Should be getting job with the federal government, but they didn't. But they never prepped us when it comes to like, oh, you need to make sure you got your stuff together for a background check, or you need to make sure you're once again make sure that your finance is good because you're going to get a background check. That all factors in. They didn't do all that stuff, so I'm paying 60,000 more than I should have, but I'm not getting the results that I got. Now, thank goodness, my work experience that I had prior to going to the school paid off to help me get my career now. But because they went bankrupt and they shut down the school, all those years I worked hard to get that degree, it's worthless. And to the point that there have been a few articles, maybe years in, that nowadays companies are not even accepting those degrees.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious. That's why my work experience and my IT certifications got to kick in because they won't accept the degree.
You mean to tell me that you went to school,
did
the right thing, but because the company basically is out of business and went bankrupt or whatever, and the federal government shut it down, that anybody who's a graduate from ITT Tech, their degrees are worthless?
Yep. Wow. Yep. And that's why it really started with Trump trying to fix all the situation with the predatorial practice, because that's really what it was. And a lot of people, which ironically, I'm not gonna say no names on this one, but one of the people was one of the financial directors that actually helped me get into the school. Hey, get this though, L. She graduated with us in high school.
Really?
I'm not gonna say it online, but she was
inbox it to me later.
Now, obviously, there's no way I'll make it to the reunion. Well, I want to, but I have plans to go to Vegas October, family purposes. But I would, but no,
Yeah, because
So
I was about to ask you, you're going to go to the reunion, but I remember you said you had to go to Vegas for family reasons. So,
yeah, so that's what that is. But no, one of the persons that actually helped me get into the school, and I can't blame her because maybe she didn't fully understand it either. But I know she got a nice salary in her pocket too.
oh yeah,
But
guaranteed. But I mean,
but
everybody got screwed that worked there, unless you were the CEOs, the people,
oh
I
no,
mean, everybody got screwed. I
nah,
mean,
she was gone before this. She was gone before I got my bachelor's there. So she got in
oh, so
there and
she
then
got
moved.
out, got in, and got out.
Yeah, which is smart. But she did set me up.
Dang, man. I can't. I think it should be criminal for institutions to not be. I mean, for organizations to not recognize this degree.
Yeah, but see, this is why a lot of people is also getting mad at too, because like I said, now because the predatorial practice has been put into an act or law. I can't say go into law, but into an act right now.
Right.
What's happening is that during the certain years that they've been into the school,
Hmm.
for me it was 2010, no, the end of 2009 to 2013.
Mm.
They're now by a year's time, any student loans that I have from that school on my credit report is being eliminated.
Well, that's a beautiful thing.
It's being eliminated, and and um, the link for the real estate trapper. He actually broke it down, but he also has a link for the article as well. So you see the
Yeah.
list of schools on it, but
Okay.
all those schools for that certain time frame of the year is ours will be set up. So mine will be supposed to be gone by next year, and
Got you.
then a few years, then another group will be gone another year after that. So it's good. It's going to be gone. It's supposed to be erased from our credit.
So the upside is for anybody who attended this school, the student loan is supposed to be eliminated.
Yeah,
The debt from. Okay.
it's going to be
So,
it's supposed to be eliminated and removed from the credit report like it never existed in the first place.
well, that's an upside. I mean, at least there's some upside to it.
Yeah, it's a small upside, but if I lose my job, my work experience is going to have to pick up the pace because degrees are not going to cut it.
Wow. Well,
So
luckily, with most tech companies, they're not even requiring that anymore. It's like they care about what skill sets are you bringing to the table. Nowadays,
true.
and you already know that. So, but
Yeah,
it's just a shot in the eye because you work so hard. It's not like it was given to you. You worked your butt
mm,
off to get this degree,
that's
both
true.
degrees, and it's not even recognized. And I just think it's ridiculous.
It is. It is. Now, good thing I got a lot of contact now, so if I need a reference, they'll definitely help me out with that. So that's a bonus. But I already, I already had in my mind that the company I'm in right now, which um, they had, a couple of black guys from what they had going years in, but they're
Right.
doing all right by me. But in my mind, I already said like this is my last job.
I don't blame you. Yeah,
This
I'm
is my
already.
last job. Like either go hard or go home on my business. That's basically what it is.
I ain't mad at you because that's where I'm at in my life right now. So you know, it is what it is. I worked hard to get where I need to at my job, and today reminded me why this is the last horse that I'm riding in the job market. So, but I'll leave it at that. But I mean, I get it. I respect it. It's sad that that you won't be able to make it to the reunion. If you ever get a chance to talk to the prisoner, see if he's going to be able to go. If he hopefully can put it in his permission slip. But
Oh, he'll be there. You
I'm
know,
just talking trash.
he'll be there.
Yeah, 'cause it won't be the same without you being there. But
Hey, don't worry about it. I'm actually, like I said, outside of going to Vegas October, um, I'm working on trying to get the trip out there for your birthday. I'm really trying to, because I do have family in Vegas. I don't want to go out there by myself. I want to make sure my wife and my girls with me so they can see my grandparents, everything like that.
absolutely.
But we're going to try to we're going to try to come out there in January, and then I believe. I believe it. I gotta talk to D Nice for confirmation, but I think his wedding is sometime next year.
Okay. Okay.
He did
Nice.
tell he said he will let me know ahead of time, so I make sure I get the trip to get out there. But he did say what might be sometime next year. Now I'll
Okay, got
contact him
you.
for confirmation, but that's what he brought up to my attention.
Got you. Okay, very nice. Okay,
Mhm.
that's all that matters, you know. Um, any final last words and whatnot in regards to your business, and obviously to parents who are parenting their kids and preparing themselves for this new world that we're in and that we're heading towards right now.
All right. Well, for parents, any parents, new, old, new, just get it into things as being parents. Two things: listen to your kids. Really, even I have a hard time doing it. Listen to your kids. That's the first and foremost thing. And number two, um, do your own damn research.
Amen.
Just do your own challenge your kids because they're a lot smarter than you think. I mean, my daughter even surprised me. Uh, and I'll make this a little quick story, but she has herself a little piggy bank. She saves the money in there, and I have an account for both my girls. I put money in there at least every 2 weeks, small change here, depending on if they do good at school, or in this case, my youngest, she just gets it anyway. But when she gets older, understands like good grades, cleaning up, I put my money in there. So my daughter come down with her piggy bank. She's like, "Daddy, my piggy bank's kind of full." And in my mind, I'm thinking about her bank account. I'm like, it's not full. It's not even close to full. It's like, okay, here, Daddy, take this, put it in my bank account, fill it up. I never told her she had a bank account. I never told her that. She must have had a feeling. She knew like, okay, Daddy, put it in my bank account so it grow interest. And then she joked around because she had no idea. But she must have heard me and you talk. She's like, when you get enough money, Daddy, go and invest in something. I'm like,
I love it. I love it.
okay. That's all I can say. Like, okay, well,
I love it. That's how it's supposed to be.
yeah.
And it's because she gets it from being around you. She
Hmm.
gets it. And obviously she's smart as well on doing other things, but it's not what you do, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for her to make video games.
There you go.
See,
That's
those
what
that those kids playing Minecraft right now. I mean, okay. Here's the funny thing. I'm not knocking anybody that sit on their butt all day, play video games, as long as they got a camera in their face and they're streaming it. That's
right.
money coming in. And
Agreed.
now I understand. Now I'm watching these channels too because like I'm seeing what they're actually doing. They're just sitting there playing video games like I do. I'm probably gonna play a little bit before I go to bed. That's
Right.
my coping mechanism. But these guys are literally the games that's coming in are not even in stores yet. They get in the demo or the trial version, and they're talking about the game, which I noticed because I have a couple of video game testers that live in London.
Right.
They're getting 200,000 pounds a year or euros, something like that,
Mm.
and they're doing the same thing. But their difference is compared to these guys on YouTube is that when they gotta discuss what's wrong with the game, they gotta write it, they gotta document it, write it down, type it, show a screenshot, send it to the creator so they can fix it. These guys on YouTube are doing the same thing, except for they're doing it, they're recording it,
Mm.
and they put it on their channel. So when these guys are seeing it, they're like, okay, we're seeing like live action. We're seeing the issue here, issue there. They're fixing it. So these YouTubers that's playing video games, now they're getting new stuff coming in. Here's some new games here. We want you to test this out. Oh, here's a brand new PS5, fully loaded, which Christmas time, some people were selling it for like $800, $900. He's getting
Mm.
it for free. His
Mm.
new Xbox Series X, same thing, $800, $900. They're getting it for free. These games getting it for free. Going to game conferences, which is in Vegas, free trips. They're getting all this stuff. Plus YouTube, which is the second biggest SEO site
Mm.
in the world. Google's number one, but Google owns YouTube, so they basically
Exactly.
winning. So Google's sending these guys a check because they're getting thousands of views per episode.
Yep.
So like, okay, well, here's a check for you for let's say $50,000 for a month because you just brought over 10,000, 15,000 subscribers, but you got like 2 million views. So I'm like, huh. If we known this stuff when we were younger, especially playing 007 GoldenEye on Nintendo
Oh,
64. Man,
exactly.
so
Exactly.
I can't knock on this generation when they're doing things different.
Not at all.
All we can do, what we're doing now, we're talking about it, we're getting involved in it, and see what we can do.
Exactly.
So,
Encouraging them and not disparaging them.
hmm
That's
oh,
the main thing.
and one more thing, when you get a chance to come down here to San Antonio,
Hmm.
I'm gonna introduce you to some people that I know that I met through the African American Chamber of Commerce of San Antonio.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely love to do that.
So, yeah, so at least want
Definitely.
you to network with them and stuff like that, because they told me a couple of things that down here that's actually helping me out with my business. So information is always key.
Amen. Collaboration over competition all day, sir.
Yes,
On that
sir.
note, don't forget to plug your business, sir.
Yes, sir. As Larry already posted on there, my company is called Reaching Out Consultants. I'm a digital marketing agency. My job is to bring businesses, big, medium, and small businesses, bring them more customers, so to bring in more money to the bottom dollar. Um, Consultation is always free. I will always give you guys pointers that you guys can use to build your business even more, and also bring you the most needed attention you guys need for your company. So go ahead, hit me on reachingoutconsultant.com. Feel free to call me. The number is on the actual page, my direct number. So if you got any questions, feel free to call me. I do what I can to answer it and point you guys in the right direction.
Amen to that, sir. Like I said, always greatly appreciated. Hope the family is doing well and you have a great night and have fun playing that game before you go to sleep.
You know it, brother.
Take it easy, man.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. All right, family. That's all she wrote. Do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. I am out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's content. I love having these great conversations. Like I said, I'm trying to get my boy Adrian Gonzalez on here so we can indulge in other conversations about relationships and life and whatnot. So channel's really coming together. It's been a long time coming, but thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for everybody who watches the content. Thank you for everybody who shares the content with others and whatnot, because I'm here to enjoy myself, talk, and hear from you all at the same time. All right, that's why it's called Larry's Anything Goes. All right, so don't forget to check out the online store. Like I always say, if you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual retirement account investor, check out WEBULL, Stash, Coinbase, Acorns, all that great stuff, crypto.com, and you'll be able to make some money once you sign up those platforms, put money in your account, all that good stuff. All right. So on that note, family, as I always say, you know the saying. I got this t-shirt to say it. Thank you to those who buy it. Make money move. No, you're gonna live bro like a fool. I'm out. Take care.
Mike, now. Mike, now.